I thought it was great. I thought this year we advanced a lot of conservative legislation. We took on big issues, especially after the post-COVID-19 era, where we had these kind of checks and balances between the legislative branch and the executive branch. And I thought the legislator over and over again asserted ourselves back in that conversation and made sure we had more power, more controls, especially during emergency situations. You look at the session overall, there was a lot of conservative legislation that generally would have been kind of pushed aside in years past that passed and passed overwhelmingly. And I think we did a lot of good work. I mean, little laws that you don't hear about in the paper and the media that made a significant impact in Arkansas, whether that was reducing taxes, lowering the burden on regulations, making things easier for people to do. I thought it was a great session, and I was proud to be part of it. It was the best session out of my 3 I've done general sessions. You look at the past, and what I would say is the Little Rock Swamp often had too much of a sway over what the session actually was. Backroom deals, underhanded, sweetheart kind of things done in the rooms of the Capitol, less accountability to the people. And this was led by Senator Hendren and Governor Hutchinson, kind of this dynasty that has been in control for a long time. And the reality is they've lost a lot of power and influence over the session. That's why you saw laws that typically would have been brushed aside, like the transgender law, or whether dealing with other issues with the executive branch that came to the forefront. And it's that kind of the people having a say versus the Little Rock Swamp that made all the difference in the world in this session. That's why I thought it was the greatest session since I've been in there. I know the governor said 2019 session was the GOAT. It was a marginal session, in my opinion. Too many control over the Little Rock special interests, not the people. This one was the exact opposite. It was messy. It was ugly sometimes. It was controversial. That's how you do good work. I mean, if you're in the weeds actually doing the work, you're going to have a lot of attacks and a lot of critics. And that's what happened this session. So it was my favorite session, the most productive. And I hope that the future ones look very similar. There are a lot of them. I mean, the transgender law was the biggest kind of focal point that drew national attention. That's a law that typically in the past we would have caved on, but conservatives came together and we said we're going to stand up strong. We passed a mask mandate ban. We passed a vaccine passport ban. This is something that an individual choice people can make. If you want to wear a mask, you want to get vaccinated, that is something that you should be able to make the decision for you and your family, not have a big government mandate coming out. Finally, I think that stronger legislative processes and say in emergency orders is huge. The executive branch in Arkansas is grown exponentially, similar to what happened in Washington, D.C. In this last session, the legislator asserted itself back into that discussion. So we have more of a co-equal branch of government. That's important because one thing I've learned living in real low South Arkansas is that you can't expect to have a Republican governor forever. I mean, I think we'll have a very good chance to have the first woman Republican governor this next session, whether that's Sarah Huckabee Sanders or Leslie Rutledge. But if you look in Louisiana, they had a strong conservative kind of electorate that elected a Democrat in that power. So it's important that the legislator have bigger say in it. For personal wins, I think that some little smaller laws, I got a hunter education pass where you can actually take that as a physical education credit. I got a no fee for concealed carry license for veterans. And of course, the best law of the session, Johnny Cash Day, where we honor the man in black and have a whole day to honor him. I think that's the best law I've passed since I've been in the legislature.
Today, colleagues, I hurt. See, we get up here and we're running bills one piece at a time. And we get in a rhythm running those bills one after another. And you just forget to run a bill sometimes. I just got to hang my head and cry. See, in fact, I was going to put some more people as sponsors. I still miss someone. But you know what? When things get tough, guys, when you're in that ring of fire, I won't back down. I'll walk that line. Because, man, when you've been up here, I've been everywhere. So I ask for a good vote for this bill. Don't think twice. It's all right.
biggest things I saw is critical race theory in schools. That is an issue that's blowing up right now. We had a good bill by Representative Lowry that would have addressed it that failed in Education Committee. I think Republicans are starting to wake up to what a threat this was. Myself and others like Senator Cotton calling this out months ago, and now you're seeing it come to the forefront. Secondly, we should have held more accountability over executive heads. Dr. Romero didn't show up for his confirmation to the Senate, and we approved him anyway. A terrible step not to have that balance and power. And I think we're going to start seeing that going forward. Mike Preston and his multiple missteps as the Secretary of Department of Commerce, he should have been held accountable in numerous different ways. I think it's going to have long-term consequences for next year and a half. The biggest issue for me personally is we did zero to address China. China is our biggest geopolitical threat. They're the ones who released the Wuhan COVID-19 virus on us, whether it was a man-made lab leak, which is theory I prescribe to, or whether they lied over and over again about that virus once it was out there. Arkansas decided to do absolutely nothing. The special interest won on that one case, but this is a geopolitical threat that's going to have long-term consequences to not only our generation, but to our kids' generation. And Arkansas has to take real concrete steps to address that. So those are the issues I think we need to make up ground, and hopefully we can do that in 2021, or excuse me, in the next session, whenever we have a new governor in that spot. The number one issue for me moving forward the next few months is redistricting. We're gonna get that census data probably September, October, November, whenever it comes out. And then you're gonna have Governor Hutchinson, Attorney General Leslie Rutledge, and Secretary of State John Thurston kind of draw the legislative districts moving forward. You know, we made great advances in those conservative kind of ways, and we have great legislators in those positions. You look at a race like mine last time, I won by 22 points in a general election over a hardcore Democrat. But this is the time for Governor Hutchinson and Senator Hendren to have revenge over those legislators they do not appreciate. And you're going to see that come through gerrymandered redistricting. So contact the governor's office, but more importantly, contact Attorney General Leslie Rutledge and Secretary of State John Thurston. Let them know that we want fair, equitable lines drawn, one that has integrity of area, one that's not gerrymandered. That is one of the most critical issues, because it's the revenge of the last kind of waning power of the Hutchinson-Hendren dynasty. And we need to do everything we can to counter that at the state level.